Hey, Bulls and Bears, we are back. Today is Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. And I really do hope that you're with the one that you love today. If not, I hope you're doing what you love to do because that's important too. And maybe you're not doing either one. Maybe you're not with the one you love. Maybe you're not doing what you love to do. Maybe you're working a job that you really don't like. Either way, I hope you have a good day. Let's get into the news. Today, we're going to talk about CPI and we're going to talk about some items that are not moving in price the direction we had hoped here on this channel. First of all, the CPI came in higher than expected. Who expected it to be lower? Well, probably not anybody here. Here's the thing though, even if it did come in lower than the previous month, and we're talking about month to month, by the way, so January compared to December, inflation ticked up. But even if it didn't tick up, even if it decelerated or dropped, it doesn't mean prices are actually falling. It doesn't mean things are becoming more affordable. It just means that the rate of inflation or the rate of increase slowed down. I hope everybody realizes that because most of the channels that I watch don't understand that simple concept, and most of the big news channels, the business news networks, also do not seem to realize that simple fact. But that's underpinned by the levels of debt that people continue to accumulate. Now, before we get into some other news, I received a message that said, "Hey, you're wrong. I own a business, and business is doing better than ever." Um, so some businesses are doing better than ever. Not all of them, but some are. And here's the thing: do you think that business that person runs would be doing better than ever if it weren't for all the lending and accumulation of debt? If you take away the endless credit card, if you make banks have some money in reserves and stop loaning out so much money, a lot of businesses would fail very, very quickly. The only way they're keeping this game going is the ever increasing amount of debt, all the way up from it to a national level. The debt ceiling is increased every time they've ever looked at it. To your local, to your small household, to your individual, the middle class person, you and me, um, people like us, I should say, middle class people, borrowing money. At some point, the game stops. It's starting to slow down now, and it's at a point now where you might see businesses still make money because people still have lines of credit that they can use, that they can go further into debt. But that doesn't last forever, and that's my point. We're only in February, and I've said in 2023 we're going to see this ball game change for the worse, and it's already gotten worse for most people if you just look at the debt levels. But how long at these current interest rates? We're talking about a credit card interest rate, an average of about 20% now. How long can households maintain? How long can they keep their head above water at this level of interest rate when every month we look at the data, more and more people are not paying off their card in full? More people are carrying balances at high interest rates, right? So it's a no brainer. It's a matter of time. And yes, you may see some businesses still doing well right now while people can still take on more debt, right? But unless they pass some sort of crazy bill that, that says credit card companies can only charge 1%, who knows? I mean, in this world, with all the other things we've seen happen over the last few years, would anybody be surprised if they did pass some sort of measure that restricted credit card companies from charging so much interest? Your guess is as good as mine on that one. But let's get into some other news here today. Now, when it comes to the cost of living, one area where we've seen slight relief compared to last summer is the cost of oil, therefore, the cost of gasoline. Crude oil, the supply is still being drained. The U.S. is selling 26 million more barrels from the strategic oil reserve. And people think that because prices are lower now than they were last summer, that's going to be easing up here in the future. Not true. If you look at the past 5 years, in the winter months specifically, we are at the highest that we've been in 5 years. Yes, it's down from last summer, but this is a seasonal retreat. in fuel prices and oil prices. The combination of us draining our reserves and the lack of production is going to make oil go much, much higher. Therefore, gasoline. I fully expect this summer to see $5, $6 gas again here in California, probably $3 to $4 in most other states here in the U.S. And so this is not over by a long shot. Inflation is not over. The cost of these items is not over. And another item went up in price. New car prices actually increased, and we're still up about 6% year over year for new car prices. The average monthly payment now is about $770 for the monthly payment on a new car. Something that's pretty interesting that I read here recently was how Ford is laying off people over in Europe. Now, you would think with car prices right now that car companies would be in the mode of manufacturing as much as possible to meet the demand. And it's starting to look like the pullback in manufacturing is a way to keep prices elevated, kind of like oil, right? What do you see out of the OPEC nations, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC? What do you see out of them when prices drop for crude oil? What they'll do is they'll pull back on production, right? How many times have you read in the headlines? They're going to be slowing down by millions and millions of barrels a day to help keep the price elevated, right? Supply and demand. So, what if they're doing the same thing for automobiles? Take a look at this article. And here we go again, another day, another big layoff announcement. Ford to cut about 4,000 jobs. And this is just the latest announcement. We've seen several other announcements of layoffs. And again, we have to ask ourselves, with car prices being where they're at, we need more supply on the market of vehicles. But yet we're seeing layoffs in the automobile industry. That should be the industry that's hiring the most. Now, what we're hearing a lot of times out of these big layoff announcements from companies is we're hearing that they're cost cutting. Okay, we're cost cutting. We're getting rid of people that we didn't need. If they didn't need those people, why were they there to begin with? Are these companies just hiring people that are not needed? Because when they're let go, that's a theme that I've been hearing is, oh, we didn't need them. We're cutting costs. We're trimming the fat is what I also hear. Well, why did you accumulate the fat to begin with? Why are you hiring people that you don't need? Right. So I think the underlying issue here is the state of the U.S. consumer. I think these companies know, these vehicle makers know that this is not an infinite customer base that's going to be able to afford to buy vehicles or get loans. So many people are not keeping up with the cost of living. They're going to end up in the bankruptcy filing, Chapter 11, Chapter 7. These layoffs are going to bleed over into the broader economy and cause more economic pain because every person that loses their job or has to go to a lower paying job, that's less money that they're going to have to spend in the economy. So it's a snowball effect. And I think these car companies, they see what's on the horizon. And a lot of these companies that are laying people off, they see what's on the horizon, right? If things were actually so great, these companies should be hiring people. If things are going to get better in the future, they should be hiring people instead of laying off. So obviously, the writing's on the wall with these layoffs. You can see what the businesses see that are laying these people off. They don't see rosy times ahead. Otherwise, they wouldn't be laying people off. Now, I want to wrap this up today with a story. And this is a client of mine. And it's not a very happy story, but there's a lesson to be learned from this story. All right. So I have a client, um, definitely was in some financial hardships and had some struggles financially. And he ended up inheriting a property, a valuable property here in California worth almost $1 million. It was close to $900,000. So this was a very fortunate inheritance for this person. And it came at a time where he was in a dire financial situation. So now he has the option of selling the home, paying off just about all of his debt, paying off all of his debt if he sells the home, because the home is free and clear. Or he could hold on to the home and rent it out and make a nice rent here. Or I think a average 3 bedroom in San Diego is close to 2,800 right now, probably closer to 3,000. So nice little income there, plus having that property. But here's the thing: he inherited it from his sister that passed away. And what he told me was he would trade that home, not have that home, to have his sister back. They were very close. Their kids, they watched each other's kids. You know, they had their kids come over their house and over to their house. So he's heartbroken. And let that be a lesson, I think, to all of us here, that it's not all about money, it's about quality of life. So today on Valentine's Day, again, I hope you're with the one that you love. If not, I hope you're doing what you love to do. Some people avoid relationships, right? So I don't always want to tie Valentine's Day to somebody in a relationship. You may be in a relationship with your art, doing what you love to do. Maybe you love to work. Um, I know people that love to do their job because they love their job. Not everyone's fortunate enough to love their job, but there are people out there that actually love their job. So it's almost not like going to work when they're actually going to work. All right, but the moral of that story that I wanted to put out here is be thankful for what you have. Love those around you. Love your family. Um, if you've ever hurt anyone in the past, say you're sorry, because we don't know how many days we have here on this earth. All right, people, we're going to wrap this up. We'll be back with more news, financial, um, economic reports. Please subscribe if you haven't already. There's a lot of people that watch but still have not subscribed. So please, if you'd like to help this channel out, please subscribe, and we'll hope to see you here next time. Bye for now, everybody. Peace.